spark curiosity, and the learning will follow.
Welcome to Agency for Change, a podcast from KidGlov that brings you the stories of changemakers who are actively working to improve our communities. In every episode, we'll meet with people who are making a lasting impact in the places we call home.
Welcome back to another episode of the Agency for Change podcast. Today, we are diving into a groundbreaking approach to education. So imagine a place where students don't just sit in classrooms, but learn by doing, building real skills, earning certifications, and even landing paid apprenticeships along the way. That's the magic of Ignite Pathways, a first of its kind career and technical education center that's bridging the gap between high school and high demand careers. And joining me today to share more about this innovative model is Michelle Berry, Director of Ignite Pathways. Michelle, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and to share more about the work that we're doing at Ignite Pathways and the impact it's having on our students, families, and communities.
Oh, Michelle, that's actually the perfect place for us to start. I'd love to have you tell us more about Ignite Pathways and the work that you do.
Of course, Ignite Pathways is a regional center that's reimagining how education connects to real-world careers. And we focus on career and technical education for students in grades 7th through 12th, while also offering adult learning classes and professional development opportunities for educators across the country. Students gain hands-on experiences in areas like healthcare, aviation, law enforcement, construction, and agriculture. And in our high school program, students can even earn core academic credits through their CTE experiences. So we have a lot to offer. Yeah, we have a lot to offer at Ignite Pathways.
And you know what? I just want to go back because I was taking notes as fast as I could. But your areas of focus are healthcare, aeronautics, construction. I missed one there, I think.
Well, I added agriculture, but we actually have over 20 areas of study for students to explore through different classes and field experiences out of the classroom. We've recently added a dental class, which has sparked some interest for kids just trying that field out.
Yeah.
And also a human relations class in that social work realm. So super excited to offer those for kids in the area.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think I know the answer to this, Michelle, but I want to hear it in your words. Why is this work so important to the communities that you serve?
So the communities that we serve have really welcomed this with open arms, this new approach to education. And why we do what we do is we want to make sure students are prepared to step into the workforce or into college. They are college and career ready. And our work helps close workforce gaps. It helps us connect education to industry because there are crucial partnerships that can be happening. Tonight, I'm meeting with a group from Oregon, actually, a workforce development group. Yep. And they are trying to really spark in their community, education, and business alike, this idea of partnership. So it's really exciting, the work that we've done here. We feel like we're just a little hub that has started and definitely branching out across the country to help others reimagine education.
Yeah, what a great program. Michelle, what I love about what I hear you say is you realize that humans are so different, right? And not all kids are meant to learn at a desk, work at a desk. Me even being at KidGlov in a creative industry, we have a lot of, people here that work at KidGlov that thrive in a space where they are, professional writers, professional designers, and really focused on a craft. And I think you could take the same person who has a lot of people skills and a lot of intelligence and put them maybe in a more traditional job they would struggle because they're more into using that creativity. And I'm sure you see that all
Mhm.
the time as well. And then those industries that you mentioned, I mean, healthcare, construction, I know those two in particular, and you mentioned social work, have just
Mhm.
had chronic workforce
Mhm.
issues where they're trying to fill positions. Once had someone tell me that, in their area, there were projects that were waiting to be built
Mhm.
that weren't being worked on because there weren't enough
Yes.
craftspeople to do that work. So I see what you're doing is really, really important. So can you talk to me, Michelle, about how you're changing that education model? You've touched on it a little bit, but I'd love to go deeper in that area.
Yeah, and exactly what you were just referencing about giving kids voice and choice and
Yeah.
allowing them to find a passion area. And that's really what our program focuses on. At Ignite, we believe that students do not need to sit in desks in rows
Yeah.
to learn the English and the math and the social studies and science. And we believe that if a student has a passion or is sparked in a particular industry or area of study, we want to lean into that for the kiddos, and we
Yeah.
want to take those core credit experiences, like I mentioned, the English and the math and social studies and science, to them
Yeah.
through their lens. And we've seen incredible results from attendance is improved,
Right.
behaviors are lower.
Right.
State assessment scores test students are retaining information because it sticks and stays with that relevance piece.
Hmm.
And then even just those post-secondary plans, kids have a plan upon graduation, which is the
Yeah.
best thing I could ask for. We know that they're going to pivot and we know that
Hmm.
careers will change, but just to instill in them and empower them to have those skills to be confident and ready to go in the workforce or college and be ready to pivot as needed if that happens to
Yeah.
come their way.
You mentioned the word pivot, and that's something I've seen. And you keep hearing how the kids that are graduating today may change careers so many times, which is fascinating
Mhm.
to me, somebody who has been in the same career since I started college, right? But knowing that kids will pivot, I love that you're giving them the chance to
Mhm.
experience something because sometimes you think you're going to like something.
Mhm.
And I think it is a shame to go through a 4-year post-secondary program and pay all of that money only to find I don't really like doing this thing that I've learned to do. And so that hands-on experience has to be valuable in so, so many ways. Michelle, one thing I know about a lot of these different career paths is that the path to entrepreneurship in some of these areas, in the construction space, the agriculture space, the 3D printing space, could be even a little bit clearer or easier than maybe a more traditional
Mhm.
pathway as well. So as an entrepreneur myself, I think that's a pretty cool thing, a pretty cool door that you're opening for people as well. So, Michelle, I'm always curious. You mentioned that you were a middle school teacher before taking this role. I'm always
Mhm.
really curious what people's own pathways are. Like, how did you get involved in Ignite Pathways
Mhm.
and come to this position that you're in today?
Yes, this is year 20, probably 20 plus in education for me. And I've been fortunate to be able to teach all the down to early childhood, the
Yeah,
littles, and even adjunct at the university level and everything in between, really. And my previous job before Ignite Pathways was in a middle school English class. And that's where I probably spent most of my years in that sixth, seventh grade range teaching literacy.
yeah,
And I had come to a point in my career, just really struggled. I had the best lesson and it was organized and it was engaging from my perspective. And when I presented it to the kids, I struggled so much because about 40% I was still missing. And they were respectful, but they just
right.
weren't engaged. And so that in my veteran years of teaching just has constantly been, what am I missing? What am I missing?
Yeah,
And this opportunity of Ignite came to be about 5 years ago. And I actually had no intention of joining Ignite Pathways. I was pursuing another avenue in education just to get a second master's degree. And in a conversation, it pivoted and I ended up attending a meeting going to learn about this new approach to education through this Ignite Pathways that was going to be built. And from that point on, that's how my journey started. And once I started in this role and started learning more about the career in tech ed and realizing that education can be delivered differently for kiddos, it all made sense to me as a teacher.
Wow.
And I thought, this is what classroom teachers are missing. They work so hard, they care so much, but we just have to lean into our kids a little bit more. And I do truly believe that career exploration is a path that we can meet all kids. And the
Yeah.
sooner we can do that, I think the more impactful it can be in their lives.
I love that. I mean, talk about a pathway for you as well. And, mentioning that, one question I always like to ask is that I'm really interested in the Ignite Pathways brand. And I'm assuming it was formed before you came in.
It was.
KidGlov does a lot of branding work. And I'm just curious, what does that brand mean to you? Because it's a really interesting name.
Yes. And it was established before I came on board with the team. But Ignite, it's all capitalized. So it's an acronym that stands for Inspiring Growth, Navigating Individuals, and Transforming Education.
Nice.
And then they tagged that pathways on there just because we don't want to limit our pathways to just, a handful. And that's why we really strive to create experiences that kids are passionate about or interested in, hence the new dental class and the new social work class, just really trying to provide as many opportunities as we can in different pathways for kids that we serve.
Absolutely. Michelle, I was just talking to somebody who is in our Brand Impact Accelerator class at KidGlov that helps professionals learn about branding. And we were talking about how typically we recommend against the use of acronyms. But the fact that because if you just call yourself, ABC, you kind of lose the meaning. But this acronym is so clever of Ignite. I mean, it really to me says you are sparking the passion of someone and leading them down the path to make that a career, which I think is really, really so meaningful in what you're doing. So well done there, whoever worked on that.
Yes, I will
20 years
pass that
ago.
on to the team. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Absolutely. So I'm curious, what's ahead for Ignite Pathways? I know you're talking to a group from Oregon tonight, but are there any exciting programs or developments on the horizon that you'd like to share?
Yes, actually, this coming year, this 25-26, we are launching a new program at Ignite called Career Adventure Days.
Ooh.
And I referenced this a little bit earlier as we were visiting about that early career exploration for kids.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is we are going to be opening up our building, and it's a 45,000 square foot building. We have multiple opportunities for students to explore on simulators, real world equipment.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is open our building up to school districts in the region. They can bring their kids in here for a field trip experience and try out. So for 2.5 hours, the kids can fly the aviation simulators, drive the heavy equipment sims, try out our healthcare lab, and really get a hands-on approach to what careers are interesting to them and where they may see themselves go in the future.
What a great experience. My next question for you, and I'm guessing this is where we can get information on that program as well, but for our listeners who would like to learn more, where can they find out more about Ignite Pathways and the Career Adventure Days that are coming up this year?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a website, and it is ignite-pathways.com.
All right.
And on that website, we have a section for students or current students or students that are maybe looking into Ignite classes to see what might interest them. There's a section for educators and those educators across the country if they would be interested in learning more about our program. And then another tab up there is career adventure days. And there are resources there to share with educators and also parents about opportunities for their kids.
Fantastic. We will, for anybody who's listening while driving or running or doing all the things that people do while listening to podcasts, we will get that website link in the show notes on the KidGlov site as well, so people can check that out. So, Michelle, what advice would you give then to educators or parents or even students that are maybe rethinking learning and career prep?
I would say don't be afraid to do things differently.
Mm,
And this whole process has been messy.
yeah.
There's no playbook, which has made it challenging at times, but also exciting because
Yeah.
we really are, we're the authors of this and we are painting this picture. And what we love the most is we can personalize these experiences for our kids.
That's fantastic.
So they're able to just explore and see. I would say just to parents, educators, and students, don't be afraid to do things differently or try something new because you don't know what door would open.
Such great advice. So, Michelle, all of our listeners on Agency for Change know that I am motivated by inspirational quotes. And I am hoping you can give us a Michelle Berry inspirational quote. Get this to ignite our listeners.
Yes, and I as I think about this, there are many, but really, truly, what you said about our brand, I go back to that, and my quote would be, "Spark curiosity, and the learning will follow."
Oh, I
And I
love it.
think that's true for our team, just our journey to get where we are with Ignite Pathways, but also for students. Spark that curiosity and then let them go, let them learn and let them lead and support them along the way.
That is beautiful, Michelle. Spark curiosity and learning will follow. I love that. And it's very brand appropriate, which I appreciate as well. Michelle, as we wrap up our time together today, what is the most important thing you would like our listeners to remember about the work that you're doing?
The most important piece that I hope listeners hear is that education can be transformed. But more importantly, I believe we are in a space where it should be transformed.
Yeah.
And if we look at industries across all areas, they are transforming. Look at the changes in technology and how they are delivering services to people. But education, in some ways, has been the same as it's been for 100 years.
Yeah.
And at Ignite, we are proving that we can connect this learning to real world experiences, to passions that students have. And we have results that are showing that it is impacting lives, not only our students, but also businesses. The business partners we're able to connect with, it's really helping them as well.
Michelle, I can certainly hear your passion for this work, and I'm sure our listeners can as well. I have loved this conversation today, and I just want to say I fully believe the world needs more people like you, more programs like Ignite Pathways. Thank you for taking time to share with us.
Yes, well, I very much appreciate your time and having me on. If anybody has questions or would like more information, they're always welcome to reach out, and we'd be happy to help in any way we can.
That's fantastic. Once again, we will get that website in the show notes for everyone, so you can jump in and check that out. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed today's Agency for Change podcast. To hear all our interviews with those who are making a positive change in our communities, or to nominate a changemaker you'd love to hear from, visit KidGlov.com at KIDGLOV.com to get in touch. As always, if you like what you've heard today, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.